There is no way they actually do this, as a brand new report has dropped revealing a massive update regarding NBA All-Star LaMelo Ball, who has reportedly requested a trade from the Charlotte Hornets. And we're going to get into exactly why I think Phoenix Suns owner Matt Isbia will be one of the top owners to get on the phone and make Brian Gregory get in contact with the Charlotte Hornets and facilitate a LaMelo Ball trade to the Phoenix Suns. But before we get into that, guys, we notice that 98.4% of you are not subscribed. So please make sure to hit that subscribe button, comment down below, hit that notification bell, and let me know how you think about the Phoenix Suns going into this game against the San Antonio Spurs after a riveting, really fun game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And what a fun game that was to watch, guys. I mean, Minnesota Timberwolves had the Phoenix Suns swept in the playoffs 2 years ago, and that was obviously a very hard watch after the first season getting there of Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal, and of course we know how that trio didn't work out. But they're out of Phoenix now, and Suns sit at 10-6 right now, which is great to see. Absolutely defying expectations. So really excited to see what they do now against the Wemby-less San Antonio Spurs. Right now, we know that they played great defense against the Spurs last month against Wembanyama. We'll get into that a little bit later, but right now let's get into this report regarding LaMelo Ball. Per a tweet here that says, "Breaking news: LaMelo Ball has grown frustrated in Charlotte and is open for a trade." Now, of course, LaMelo Ball this is really the first big trade report for LaMelo Ball so far in his career with Charlotte. We know that, LaMelo Ball is one of the funnest players to watch, in my opinion, in the NBA. I mean, he's very flashy and he's going to sell tickets. He's a great offensive player. I mean, he's a great playmaker and facilitator. He's always been a really solid three-point shooter and, a great scorer overall, but I mean, a trade to the Phoenix Suns, in my mind, does not work out. I kind of just want to put that out there immediately, that I don't think that the Phoenix Suns should trade for LaMelo Ball. I actually, in fact, think that LaMelo Ball would make the Phoenix Suns worse at any rate. I mean, if you bring him here and you trade someone away like, I don't know, Colin Gillespie or Grayson Allen or Royce O'Neal, that would completely just, mess up the chemistry and the mesh that this team has formed so far through the season and kind of the culture that Jordan Ott has created. Now, I'm not saying that LaMelo Ball is a bad player in any right, but there's always been the question of leadership with LaMelo Ball. And, if he can lead a team to the playoffs, and of course the Charlotte Hornets haven't made the playoffs since he's been drafted, even though they have a very talented team, they just haven't been able to I guess just mesh well together. Maybe it's a coaching issue. Maybe it's a player personnel issue. But health has always been a big thing for LaMelo Ball. I mean, you can see here from his stats over his career that, 51 games his first season, 75 his sophomore, but then, that 3-year span there, 36 games, 22 games, 47 games, and only 9 games so far this year. But that has always been one of the biggest, minuses in LaMelo Ball's career, is that he just can't stay healthy and he can't stay on the floor, even though he is an exceptionally talented player. But, just kind of getting into his stats for this here, guys. You take a look here, 31 minutes per game, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 10 assists, 1.4 steals, 4 turnovers, 3 fouls, 38.5% from the field, and, of course, 30% from the three-point line. So, on the surface level, LaMelo Ball, of course, is not having his most efficient year. 38.5% from the field is pretty despicable, as well as 30% from the three-point line. But he hasn't been the most efficient scorer throughout his career, but he's always been a very talented guy that can shoot from beyond the arc and get around the rim. He's got an excellent, really lanky, wiry frame, and that allows him to get to the rim, and really great finisher at the basket. So that's one of the things that he's really good at. Also, he's an excellent passer. He's got great vision. He's always been a great floor general in his career as well, but obviously the number one thing throughout his career is that he just hasn't been able to stay healthy. He's got a career played 240 games so far, and that's just not enough from the 3rd overall pick in the NBA draft. I'm sure that's not what Charlotte wanted out of him, and of course, just kind of repeating what I said before, that's one of the main reasons why a lot of teams probably don't want him, is because he's just not healthy. He can't stay on the floor. But I bring up this video specifically because I think Matt Isbia looks at LaMelo Ball and thinking, young point guard that very flashy. He's going to sell tickets. He's going to make the Phoenix Suns a little more money here, as they don't really have as many stars on the team right now. I know they've Devin Booker and Dylan Brooks, who's one of those players that is very is going to annoy the other players and the opponents and kind of jaw with any team that we play. Probably going to jaw with anybody on the Spurs tonight, but he's a player that's going to sell tickets in the right, that he's kind of a pest on the floor. But LaMelo Ball is the kind of guy that people are going to come to the arena and they're going to want to see him play. And I think Matt Isbia is kind of taking that into account if he actually tried to facilitate a trade to a trade from LaMelo Ball to the Phoenix Suns, which, of course, kind of reiterating what I said before, I don't think that would work. I don't like the idea of a LaMelo Ball trade. I don't think he is a great leader. Not to say that he would be a leader if he came to the Phoenix Suns. We know that Devin Booker is the leader of this team, and he's kind of the coach on the court, besides Jordan Ott, who's, of course, done an excellent job creating a winning culture for this team and has done a great job, specifically on the defensive side, really, denying players that, really need the ball, especially Victor Wembanyama, which we'll get into a little bit later. But yeah, no, LaMelo Ball trade, I just overall don't think is going to work for this team, and I don't think it's going to happen. I just kind of had to bring up the fact that I know that Matt Isbia probably saw that report and was like, oh, let's take a look here and see if, what it would take to get LaMelo Ball to Phoenix. Matt Isbia might also be looking at it in the sense that the team really needs a point guard at this point. But, I mean, Devin Booker's been doing an excellent job being the facilitator of this team. I know he's leading the team in turnovers right now with around 4 or 5 per game, which is, of course, not what you want to see. But it's only still early into the year. And I think, given some time and, some conversations with Jordan Ott on how exactly he can be a better playmaker and point guard and facilitator for everybody else on the team, I think he can, kind of clean those turnovers up and definitely become a better point guard for this team, especially when Jalen Green comes back. He's supposed to be the secondary shot creator next to Devin Booker. But overall, those are just my thoughts on the LaMelo Ball situation right now and why I don't think a trade for the Phoenix Suns for him would work and how I think it would just kind of mess up the chemistry of this team. But kind of looking at this game, guys, against the San Antonio Spurs tonight, the big thing going into this is that Victor Wembanyama is going to be out. And that was the thing that won us the game last matchup was the defense against Victor Wembanyama. I mean, they did such a great job of denying him the ball in the high and the low post, which of course is where he thrives because he can just really just kind of like lay the ball up over you and put it in the rim. But I mean, they had really efficient use of double teams and triple teams. I mean, they had like guards on them sometimes, even in those doubles, like Jordan Goodwin and Colin Gillespie and Royce O'Neal, who are just kind of more undersized players, did an excellent job of denying him the ball, making him uncomfortable, shooting bad shots. I mean, you take a look at the box score here, he only went 4 for 14. I mean, he shot 29% from the field. That's not what you see out of Victor Wembanyama. I mean, right now in his career, in this season, he's shooting at least 50% from the field, I believe. And to hold him to 29% from the field is an impressive defensive feat in its own right. And not having him there tonight, of course, is going to be much, much easier. And I think that they can absolutely win this game, no doubt. That's one of the reasons. The big thing that this Suns team is thriving on right now is just pure hustle and tenacity, and that's what won us the game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, Colin Gillespie there in the final around the final minutes or in the fourth quarter. I mean, he stole that inbound pass and allowed him to score, creating a next opportunity to get closer to where he eventually had that game-winning shot, and that was a fun shot to watch, and it's just an amazing game in its own right. But, guys, let me get your thoughts exactly on this LaMelo Ball situation, and if you think it would be a good trade for the Phoenix Suns. I don't think it would be, and also give me your thoughts on how you feel about this game going into San Antonio, and how exactly you think if they're going to win, if they're going to lose, but I think it'll be an easy matchup, and I definitely think that they will take the cake tonight and definitely get a dub over there. But thanks, guys, and as always, go Suns.